So personally for me, I feel that third generation K-pop, the growth that generation experienced was significantly greater than any other generation. Where right now we're in the fifth generation. Do you agree or do you disagree?
I would say I agree.
Well, if that's the case, what do you think are some of the factors that you believe caused third generation K-pop to have such breakaway success compared to generations before and after?
I would say there's probably a lot of reasons, but two main ones come to mind. I'd say the first one is, I think we previously talked about the second gen, about how second gen K-pop was a lot of testing things out, a lot of throwing things against the wall, seeing what sticks. But at the same time, we saw things that really worked and are still considered huge today. I think it says a lot that these days when second gen groups reunite, come back, that it's such a big deal. So the third generation groups that were formed, especially from the big three groups, were probably coming off a huge push of momentum from their predecessors. YG groups are coming off Big Bang and 21. JYP groups were coming off of Wonder Girls and 2 a.m. and 2 p.m. You got SM groups coming off of Girls' Generation and SHINee and Super Junior, right? So I think once third gen was coming around, everyone was dying to see who were going to follow up these groups. And then I think the other thing is, I think it was also this time where we saw a big evolution and a big jump in how internet was being used and how K-pop fit into that and how companies were utilizing it and how people were discovering K-pop. And we also talked about how content was becoming a lot more prevalent, a lot more accessible to international fans. I think those two things in combination is what specifically made third generation such a huge explosion from the previous generation. I think from third to fourth and then from fourth to fifth, it may be an increase, but not as big of a jump. What do you think?
Yeah, you make a great point when it comes to third gen groups evolving from second gen groups. And like you said, second gen was a lot of throwing things on the wall and seeing what sticks. And when they found what stuck, they would really refine that and polish that and continue running basically from what worked. And then, as you mentioned, the rise of social media, the growth of YouTube, the accessibility, things becoming more viral, and just the growth that really pushed third generation K-pop to another level. And it's kind of like, I want to make an analogy with smartphones, where when smartphones were first released, every year, year after year, there's huge growths, right? With each generation of like the iPhone, for example. But after a certain point, the last 5 to even 10 years of smartphones, there's really hasn't been much growth. It's just been pretty incremental. And that's kind of how fourth generation and fifth generation has been, especially fifth generation. Like we've transitioned into fifth generation now, and there's almost no difference between fifth generation groups and fourth generation groups.
It's a lot harder to distinguish when the generation's a little bit now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But one of the forefront leaders of the third generation was BLACKPINK. And not only have they broken numerous records and countless barriers, their influence has reached a global stage. It doesn't end with just K-pop. They're a global behemoth now. And since leaving YG Entertainment, each of the members have gone on to their own paths to resounding success. With last week's release of Jisoo's EP, Amortage, all of the members have now released more music individually than as a group. Coming up on today's episode, we discuss BLACKPINK and each of the individual members' careers so far. Welcome to Diaries of an MZ Generation, where we discuss Korean culture, music, and entertainment. This is episode 7. I'm Ellis Tan, and today is Friday, February 21st, 2025. Joining me, as always, is my friend and co-host, Justin Lee. First of all, happy birthday, Justin.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so tomorrow, the 22nd, is our dear friend Justin's birthday. Right now, we're recording in Korea, so I'm not actually sure how this audio quality is going to be, but hopefully it turns out okay. How are you doing? How are you feeling so far?
I'm in Korea celebrating my birthday. I think that says it all. It's amazing. I can't believe we're here. Yeah, I don't know if it's hit me yet, but I'm really enjoying this unintentional tradition we have of every time it's my birthday, we go to the other side of the country.
The other side of the world.
The other side of, oh yeah, you're right. What am I saying? Country? The other side of the world.
Yeah, last year was what? Singapore?
Singapore.
Or Kuala Lumpur? One of those two.
Yeah.
Right?
And can't wait to see where we go next year. But no, it's been amazing. I can't believe we're finally here. And yeah.
So before we get started on our discussion about the BLACKPINK members and their individual careers, I want to briefly talk about the group for those of you listeners who may not be familiar with how the group actually started. BLACKPINK consists of 4 members. The oldest, Kim Jisoo, Jennie or Jennie Kim, Kim Jennie, ROSÉ, also known as Roseanne or Park Chae-young, and LISA or LISA Manobal. They debuted with YG Entertainment on August 8th of 2016, and their fandom are called Blinks. Do you have a bias in BLACKPINK?
I do not.
You really?
Yeah, BLACKPINK's just one of those groups where I just really like all the members to a point where I can't really pick one. I'll go through phases. I'll go through, a ROSÉ phase, and I'll go through a Jennie phase and things like that. But BLACKPINK is particularly the group that I cannot choose a bias. Who's your bias?
Well, since their debut, ROSÉ was always my favorite member, but especially even more recently, I just really love Jisoo. Seeing her in concert, seeing her perform, and just the route that she's taken, I really am a fan of her and her personality. So I would say my top 2, ROSÉ and Jisoo.
Okay. Is it me or that we give kind of the same answers? Like,
I mean, like you said, it's when it comes to BLACKPINK, it's hard to choose one, right? But unfortunately, that's not exactly how a lot of Blinks think.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll save that for another episode.
Another 3 episodes.
What were your thoughts on the group when they debuted? Because they were coming off of 2NE1's career.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, a lot of the 3rd generation groups that I was looking forward to is because of their 2nd gen predecessors, and BLACKPINK was definitely a group I was looking forward to. Obviously, they were teasing this group very early on with the infamous Future 21 video, where actually none of the BLACKPINK members were in that video except Jisoo just sitting in the background. And then they very slowly kind of introduced you to the members in various ways. Jennie, you saw a couple practice videos of her, so I remember being very familiar with her at a very early point. ROSÉ was featured in G-Dragon's album on a song called Without You. And so I already had high expectations about her voice and her singing and the fact that he picked her to be on his album, his solo project. And then Jisoo wasn't really someone I knew of until the group actually debuted. But yeah, I was highly anticipating how YG was going to follow up a legendary group like 2NE1. Do you remember your feelings about them before they debuted?
Yeah, of course, because I was not a fan of BLACKPINK when they debuted.
Why?
Or maybe pre-debut. It's hard to say because I'm one of those people who, whenever a new group comes out, I'm always like, I'm a fan of the previous group. I can't be a fan of this group. Like, I was a big fan of 2NE1, so I wasn't really excited for BLACKPINK.
Well, you put it like that, I can definitely see it. Although I do remember around that time, everyone saw the writing on the wall for 2NE1 a little bit.
Yeah, of course. But like when EXO came out, I was like, oh man, I'm a big SHINee fan. I don't know if I could ever like EXO. And then EXO came out with amazing music, and I was like, you know what? I really like EXO. And then when NCT comes out, it's like, oh man, I don't know if I can ever like NCT. I don't like their concept. But they come out with great music, and I like these songs.
No, yeah. You put it like that, it definitely makes sense.
Yeah, so for me personally, when the group was first announced, and maybe even all the way up to their debut, I was not really excited for the group, but obviously I really liked their music, so I did become a fan pretty quickly.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite BLACKPINK songs? Maybe something that you can recommend. I feel like a lot of people have probably listened to BLACKPINK, but just in case, like, what are some of the songs that you really enjoy and you might recommend?
Yeah, like you said, I feel like a lot of people listening have definitely heard most of their title tracks and things like that. So
90% of the discography is title tracks.
Yeah. That being said, when I was listing out some songs that I wanted to bring up, a lot of these are B-sides. So, well, first of all, I'll put a couple of title tracks out first that I love. Playing with Fire, Stay. I love the ballads and the slower songs that they have. See You Later is a song that I love after I saw their performances of it. Don't Know What to Do is a song I love. Hope Not is another slower song. You Never Know, The Happiest Girl. Yeah, I feel like I picked a lot of the slower, the like complete opposite of the kind of sound that they're known for. Lovesick Girls is a title track I love, but I think my favorite Blackpink song is As If It's Your Last. What are your favorites?
I mean, they only have like 32 songs and you already listed half of them. So your favorite song is my favorite song, 마지막처럼, or As If It's Your Last. And you mentioned Playing with Fire. Those are two tracks that I would absolutely recommend.
Yeah.
I'm a really big fan of Tally, Type of Girl, Pretty Savage. I think their first album, aptly named The Album, that's one of my favorite K-pop albums, maybe of all time.
I love that album.
I have that on vinyl. I think I have that on like every version that they ever released.
Yeah, I love that album.
And for 2020, that was probably my favorite album. So pretty much anything on there I can recommend. Like the Bet You Wanna with Cardi B was actually, really love that song.
Yeah, I think, you mentioned they don't have, especially as many songs as most other K-pop artists, but I do think we can agree that most of their songs are quality songs, quality over quantity.
Yeah, I guess you can say that. But I always compare them to like Twice, who may have released more songs in 1 year than in Blackpink's entire career.
Yeah.
And a lot of Twice's songs are very quality as well.
That is true.
Well, regardless, after months of contract negotiations, on December 29th of 2023, it was announced that each of the members would go on to leave YG Entertainment for their individual activities, with Blackpink activities to continue to be managed by YG. 3 of the members would go on to found their own agencies. Jisoo with her agency Blissoo, Jennie with Odd Atelier, and Lisa with L Loud, or is it just Loud? It's LLOUD, Loud. ROSÉ would sign and continue to work with the Black label. Starting off today's conversation, we'll discuss the individual career thus far of the first member to debut solo from Blackpink, Jennie. In November of 2018, Jennie would be the first member of Blackpink to debut solo with her song, Solo. At the time, how did you feel about that song when it first came out?
The song itself didn't blow me away, but I really liked it. I especially loved the music video because it was showing her not necessarily stepping away from Blackpink, but you kind of watch the evolution of her wardrobe and the colors around her in that music video. She starts to find her own color, so to speak. So I thought it was a really cool music video, really visually interesting. And yeah, the song was good. Nothing mind-blowing in my opinion, but I thought it was appropriate. What was your opinion about it?
Well, as far as the song itself is, it's kind of considered a classic K-pop song. Like people regularly...
Oh yeah. No, like I said, I really liked it. I just didn't love it.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, it's a personal preference. I think Solo, I have to agree, when I first listened to it, it was, yeah, not bad. It's pretty good. But it is, again, like I said, one of the most iconic K-pop solo songs, especially for a debut. But one thing that I was really curious about is that just 2 years after Blackpink debuted, Jennie would go on and do her solo debut. Did you have any thoughts on that at the time?
I think what stuck out more to me was that they called it Solo. Like they called their album, the first album, The Album. This felt like they were calling it, this is the solo. So it also felt like, what about the other members? Or I had some of those kind of thoughts, but I don't remember thinking whether or not it was too soon for her to debut solo. I felt like it was inevitable that they were going to go that direction at that time.
It was inevitable, but
it was
years,
early. It was definitely early. What were you thinking about it?
I just wasn't sure because it was very early in Blackpink's career. And when it happened with Miss A, where one member just suddenly grew in popularity much more than others, and I was concerned that Jennie's popularity, she was already the most popular member, that she would just take off even more so, and it might cause a problem within the group.
Did that turn you off to that debut at all then?
I'll be honest, I'm not really a Jennie fan.
Okay.
So I was already kind of I'm not sure about this, but I'm the type of person where if the music's good, I'm going to enjoy it. And it was a great song, obviously. The dance is really catchy and really fun.
Dance is great, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was really interesting that she debuted so shortly after Blackpink's debut.
Now, looking back, I didn't realize it was so quick after their debut. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. But crazily enough, even with the success of that song solo, she would not release another solo song under YG Entertainment until October 6th of 2023, when their contract is probably over already.
Yeah.
So she performed this song during the tour, and it was finally officially released as a digital single. It's called You and Me, and this song popped off. Like, obviously, she was performing it during the tour, and a lot of people were excited for it, but it's a great song. It might be my favorite solo song of hers so far, You and Me. Did you have any thoughts on that song?
It is absolutely my favorite Jennie solo song. I think we first got a glimpse of it at their concert, right? I thought the performance was amazing. The way they used the stage as the moonlight and you just see their silhouettes dancing at first, I thought it was awesome. And then when the song actually came out, I thought it was brilliant. I love this song. And another fun fact, the cover art for this song was designed by the creator of Sailor Moon, which just adds to how amazing it is. Yeah, this is 100% my favorite of the Jennie solos.
It really leads to the question that how many more songs does Jennie have under YG Entertainment that they still haven't released? That's what I'm wondering.
Oh, I think they have a lot of stuff. I think they have a lot of BLACKPINK stuff they did, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Well, since then, she's left YG as far as individual activities are concerned. Like we mentioned earlier, she started up her own agency, Odd Atelier. And since then, she has released a few title tracks, Mantra, which I really enjoy. It's being played everywhere in Korea right now. And Love Hangover, which just came out a couple weeks ago. That's also being played everywhere in Korea right now. And coming up in a few weeks is her first solo album called Ruby, which I believe has 15 tracks, which is huge.
It was crazy looking back at everything else.
What are your thoughts on her solo music career so far?
I think her solo career has been great so far. I really enjoyed it. She's strong debut with solo, like we talked about. We gushed about You and Me. I also really enjoyed Mantra and Love Hangover. I think you can see the evolution of her music into, especially now like TikTok's a thing. I think Mantra and Love Hangover really play into that kind of culture where, you know, the sound, the spirit of the songs is something that a lot of women and girls can get behind and they'll post with it. And it's just really cool to see and really looking forward to her new album coming up as well.
Do you have any thoughts on the music videos for either Mantra or Love Hangover? Because in particular, Love Hangover is a pretty interesting music video.
Well, what do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that?
No, it's just they have some very interesting scenes.
Yeah, I think a lot of the scenes in that music video kind of circulated, went viral, whatever you want to call it. But I also think at the same time, I think they know what they're doing. It's a little suggestive. It's not too over the top, but people know what's going on. You know what I mean? And I didn't really have a thought about it one way or the other. It is interesting.
That's exactly what I wanted you to say. Just wanted to pique the listeners' curiosity a little bit. If you haven't seen the music video, go check that out. One thing for me, when I saw the Mantra music video for the first time, I was really surprised when one of the locations she filmed at was across from LACMA, which was the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. And I knew this building. It is the Peterson Automotive Museum.
Okay.
And when I went to LACMA myself in like 2019, I saw this building and I was really interested in the architecture of it. So I took photos in front of that building.
Okay.
And crazily enough,
you instantly recognized it.
Yeah, she's dancing in front of this building for the Mantra music video. So I thought that was really cool. So with her album coming up again on March 7th, do you have any expectations about what might be coming?
No, I have no idea. I have no idea what's coming. Though we see a lot of big names on there. You see her stock has risen since the very beginning. I feel like it's going to be a lot different than what she's given us before. But I feel like for this first album, she's gonna veer in a direction maybe we weren't expecting. What do you think?
I mean, Love Hangover was already kind of a different direction.
Yeah. Again, suggestive music video.
But yeah, she is going to be doing a little showcase as well, I believe in New York, Los Angeles, and in Seoul.
Yep.
And those ticket prices were ridiculous, so I didn't get a ticket for that. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Some of the other things that Jennie is known for her acting career, she has done this HBO show called The Idol. I don't think either of us have watched that.
No.
As far as business, she is the brand ambassador for both Chanel and Calvin Klein. she is either sponsored or some type of partnership with Gentle Monster and Tambourines. And yeah, she has her agency called Odd Atelier. With that, we've discussed Jennie's music career so far, her acting career so far, and the business endeavors that she's taken on. What do you think it is about Jennie that has given her such a huge fan base? Because, like for me, whenever I'm in Korea, I'll go to like a Gentle Monster or a Tambourines or something, and there's always so many people lined up to take pictures with just her imagery.
Yeah. To me, she has that X factor. She has that it girl vibe. And I feel like that's part of the reason why YG seemed to focus on her in the beginning. Also gave her the solo debut first. I feel like she brings that vibe, that energy, that spirit to her songs, which is why these later songs really popped off, especially on social media and things like that. And she brings that to these brands. See, Calvin Klein, Chanel, she fits these perfectly. They bring her on because they think she'll, raise the awareness for their brand, raise the stock of their brand. It's not in price, but as in the value. To put it simply, she makes it cool, right? I don't think I even knew the brand Gentle Monsters really before Jennie was associated with it. Calvin Klein, she brought herself and she brought something new to it. So again, she brings that it girl vibe. Yet at the same time, she's super genuine. If you've seen Jennie behind the scenes or backstage, something like that, she doesn't come off as pretentious or cold or anything like that. So she's kind of the best of the both worlds. What do you think it is about Jennie that has given her the success she's seen so far?
Yeah, so when she first started her career, I thought it was just her visual, her personality. But since she's left YG, I've come to realize that I believe it's her creative talent, her creative mind. It's not necessarily her singing skill or her rapping skill or her visual, her beauty. I don't think it's any of that. I think what really separates her from other idols is her personality and her creative mind.
I totally agree with you. At the same time, I will kind of defend that I do think she's a really decent singer. And I think songs like Stay show that off.
Well, I wasn't saying that she's a bad singer.
Yeah. No. I know what you're saying. But a lot of people don't see that, right? They more see the things that you're talking about. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Well, 3 years after Jennie's solo debut, the next member of BLACKPINK would have her solo debut. On September 10th of 2021, LISA would come out with her single album, La Lisa, that contained the tracks La Lisa and Money. When she debuted, what were your thoughts?
To be honest, I wasn't as hot on Lisa's debut as I was for Jennie's debut.
What was it about her debut that wasn't as hot for you?
I think it's just the songs themselves. The songs, it's not something that I wanted to listen to all the time. It's fun to see her perform it. She's a great performer. It's fun to be there when she, dances and things like that. And those songs are they're created more for that, the performance aspect. And it makes sense because she's more of a dancer. She's more a performer. So to me, the songs themselves were just not something I gravitated toward as much as something like Solo or You and Me. What about you?
Personally, for me, I really didn't like the songs when they first came out.
Mm-hmm.
But typical YG, they always have some quality that makes it really catchy.
Yeah.
Like in particular, Money.
Yeah.
It's just so fun to sing along to. For La Lisa, it's really fun to watch her perform that song.
Absolutely.
So although these two songs aren't really the type of music that I would put on repeat, for example, I still do enjoy the songs, even though I don't think personally for me, they're not the greatest songs.
I love watching her perform it. I love, watching the music shows and things like that. But when it came on Spotify or something, it's not something I would play maybe all the way through or maybe even skip.
Oh. Well, since her solo debut with YG Entertainment, she wouldn't go on to release any more tracks until leaving YG Entertainment and starting her own agency. She would go on to release the track Rockstar on June 27th of 2024, the song New Woman on August 15th of 2024, Moonlit Floor, in parentheses, Kiss Me, that was on October 3rd of 2024, Born Again, featuring Doja Cat and Ray, that just came out a couple of weeks ago. And next week, she has her first album coming out, Alter Ego, which consists of 12 tracks. As far as Lisa's music career so far, what are your thoughts on how she's progressed as a solo artist?
Oh, I think she's really found her sound. She's really found her persona as a solo artist. I said I wasn't hot on LISA and Money, but those have kind of become iconic now. Like you said, there's just something in YG's music, in the way they're made and things like that, that you can't escape it even if you wanted to, right? So, but as far as her songs following that, New Woman featuring Rosalia, I thought was really good. Moonlit Floor is a song I love. I love that song. And it's kind of a remake of another song, but I don't mind that at all. It's probably, Moonlit Floor is probably my favorite of her solo songs. Born Again is a song that just came out, like you said, so I'm still kind of getting to know it, but I also enjoy that song as well. I think she's really found her voice as a solo artist. She's really come into her own. I really enjoyed what she did in 2024 and 2025 as well, and I'm super looking forward to what's coming next.
What are your expectations with the upcoming album?
It's called Alter Ego, so I'm expecting a lot of diversity. I think she's going to show us a lot of different colors that we probably haven't seen yet. Although I think I said the same thing about Jennie. So, but yeah, I think Alter Ego is going to be a lot of different things, different genres maybe.
Besides her music, Lisa has also gotten into acting with her debut on the HBO series The White Lotus Season 3. Aside from that, she is also the brand ambassador for Celine, MAC Cosmetics, and Bulgari. She was also one of the trainers on the show Youth With You. Did you watch that at all?
No, I did not watch the show, but it was hard to escape all the clips of her as a mentor, as a strict mentor on that show, which was cool to see how much she's grown and now passing everything she's learned to the next generation.
What do you think are some of Lisa's traits that has made her a success so far?
I think the things that made her a success, we saw even from the beginning of her career. She was the youngest in the group. She was the baby. But at the same time, she can flip that switch. And when she gets on stage, she becomes someone else, which I guess goes very well with her upcoming album, Alter Ego. She's also YG's first Thai idol. She's, their first non-Korean idol. And I think that level of international attention also played a huge part into what makes her appealing to a lot of people. But I think mostly it's how she flips the switch from being on stage to her bubbly personality and her cute tendencies off stage. What are some things about Lisa that stand out to you?
I think she just has an incredible aura, the way that she presents herself. For example, whenever she raps or whenever she dances, she has such a fierce look. And then, as you said, when she's just herself, she's so bubbly and kind and friendly. And I think that's just really appealing to a lot of people. Whenever she's doing modeling work, I feel she really gives off a great aesthetic for the brands that she is working with, like Celine in particular. And yeah, I just remember when her dance clips went viral, when she started putting out those dance videos on YouTube. That was a fun time.
Yeah. I forgot to mention it when you asked me, what I was feeling leading up to their debut. And I forgot to mention that dance practice they had put out right before debut, where they danced to that Rihanna song. And still to this day, I still remember Lisa standing out in that video. So you can tell why they put her in front for that video. She exuded that energy that they wanted you to associate with BLACKPINK even before you got to know them. That's the fierceness that she had even way back then.
How do you feel about her solo career so far?
I would give her the Most Improved Player award from how I felt initially to how I feel now. You know what I mean?
Is this like a personal?
No, just like we said, it's not a Lisa thing. It's more, the songs that she chose, I didn't gravitate toward them in the beginning. And now she's putting out songs that I prefer a little more. That's it. But don't get me wrong. I don't hate LISA and Money. Right? It's just her later songs, I enjoy much, 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 much more personally.
So you hate LISA and Money, got it.
I hate LISA and Money. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, shortly after Lisa's solo debut, ROSÉ would be the next to make her first official solo debut. On March 12th of 2022, ROSÉ would release a single album titled R, with the title tracks On the Ground and Gone. When ROSÉ debuted, what were your thoughts on that?
Out of all the members, ROSÉ was probably the one I was looking forward to the most. In my personal opinion, to me, it seems like she's the one that's most connected to music. She's more connected to the writing of it. She's more connected to recording it and performing it, right? So I was really looking forward to what she was going to do when she was by herself and not performing a song that was made for her. And when On the Ground and Gone came out, they instantly became my favorite debut songs out of the three members. I'm sorry, Lisa, but yeah, Rosé's On the Ground, Gone. I love those songs. I think they fit her so well. And it's such a Rosé sound. It's everything I wanted.
Justin hates LISA and Money.
No, I'm contradicting everything I said earlier. Like, oh, I love all the members. Like, I do love all the members. We're specifically talking songs, right?
We're just joking. We're just joking.
Yeah. What were your thoughts at the time?
So this single album came out around the time of my birthday.
Oh,
It felt like an amazing birthday gift because Rosé was my favorite member
yes.
and I love her voice. That's probably the main reason why she's my favorite member.
Yeah, amazing.
I love the way that she sings. And On the Ground and Gone were just a reaffirmation of why I love her so much. She puts out the music that I love listening to. And when On the Ground came out, I had that song on repeat for at least a week.
Yeah.
Like it was nonstop. The only thing I was playing. And I love that song.
Just didn't want your birthday to end, huh?
Yeah. But the dance looks great on video. But when you watch it in person, it's hard to see when she's on
When
the ground.
she's on the ground, yeah. I always wondered, like, before, they toured around when she had the song, I was like, what is the audience seeing right now? The camera's pointing down to the ground. What we see is beautiful.
Yeah. When you're on the floor, you don't see anything. Maybe when you're in the stands, in the seats, maybe you'll see what's going on. But Gone is probably the better performance song, the song to watch, although it's more of an emotional song, right? So
Yeah.
Rosé would then surprisingly go on to release another solo song, but under the BLACKPINK album, Born Pink. And the song's called Hard to Love, again, part of the Born Pink album that came out on September 16th of 2022. It's the same year. And it doesn't even list her as the singer. But I remember listening to this song and thinking, wait a second, why is Rosé the only one singing?
Yeah.
I guess eventually it might have been confirmed it was a Rosé solo song, but do you remember that?
I do. I don't remember being super confused. I just was wondering why. Why not at least list it as just Rosé? You know what I mean?
Well, I personally love the song, but what confused me was BLACKPINK already released so few tracks.
Yeah.
They already released such little music, and then to come out with their second full album, and one of the tracks on that full album is just another. It's just another Rosé solo song.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, I loved it, right, as a Rosé bias. But other fans who maybe another member is their bias, I felt that there was a little bit of negativity there.
I can see that. I can see why.
Do you have any thoughts about the song?
Yeah, this one was a weird one. I remember listening to it the first time, and I could really care less about it.
Really?
I don't know why. And I also don't know when I finally came to my senses, because I love this song now. If we would just throw it in all of Rosé's songs, I'll put it near the top, at least, upper third now that she's released so many recently. But I love this song. I don't know what I was thinking the first time I heard it. Maybe I was just more focused on the other songs in that album. But yeah, fantastic song. And live, seeing this live, incredible.
That album was really good as well.
The album was so good.
Since joining the Black label, Rosé has come out with a few title tracks and a full album. The first, which is called APT or Apate on October 18th of 2024, Number One Girl on November 22nd of 2024, and Toxic Till the End, which was released on December 6th of 2024. These all come off of her album, Rosie. We've briefly discussed Apate APT before, but this song grew to incredible heights in Korea and across the world, I guess. This featured Bruno Mars. How did you feel about Rosé's album and when all this stuff was blowing up?
Man, we briefly touched on it on our first episode about, our favorite songs of 2024. But I cannot express how much I loved the three songs that she released. Apate, Number One Girl, Toxic Till the End, which headlined an incredible album as well. I also love that these three songs that she released music video for us, all completely different from each other. Apate is like super fun. Bruno Mars is on there. Korea loves Bruno Mars. We talked about, IU's concert being hard to get into, a festival, just celebrities being all over the place. Bruno Mars was kind of the same thing when he came to Korea. And the fact that he featured on a song with Rosé probably just skyrocketed in Korea, which then skyrocketed internationally. The game itself became a thing. Everyone wanted to learn the game.
One of my favorite captions was Bruno Mars was in his oppa era.
Yeah. You remember the when he was getting the mama order?
Right, exactly.
사랑해요.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love when Western artists collaborate with Korean artists or K-pop artists. I love when you see how involved they are. They're not just there for a feature. They're not just shooting the music video in a different location and piecing it together. Bruno Mars was really into that. They performed together on stage. But yeah, and that was followed up with Number One Girl, much slower than ABT, but I might have loved it even more. And then Toxic Till the End came out, which was an emotional song, but a more upbeat kind of song. How I don't know how I would describe it, but I can't gush enough about her newest album. How did you feel about it as someone who could not stop playing her first single?
Yeah, so Rosé pretty much just sticks to her script. This is kind of her MO, the type of sound that she goes for. So obviously, I was a big fan of the single album. Loved this album. I know a lot of people also really love this album. It's just super relatable. A lot of great songs that you can just enjoy. But yeah, I love the lyrics for Toxic Till the End.
Yeah, so good. And this feeds into what I say about she's the one I feel is most connected to the music and the process of it. The songs feel like they're coming from her. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like it was written elsewhere and she's just going through the motions. Do you remember after Number One Girl and Toxic Till the End, everyone's trying to figure out who her ex is just because of these lyrics? They're like, who is this guy?
I think that was kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But regardless, yeah, I mean, Rosé has always been known as really big musician within the group. She was always writing songs. Who knows how many tens or hundreds of songs that she's written, and to only come out with 14 so far.
Yeah.
But regardless, like, they're all great tracks.
So good.
Incredible album. But yeah, but she is pretty much just strictly a musician, an artist.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have any acting roles, but she is a big brand ambassador for a lot of large brands. Yves Saint Laurent, Solhwasu, Rimowa, Tiffany, a lot of LVMH. Yeah, so her face, you'll see it on a lot of places.
I have.
What are your thoughts on how Rosé's career has progressed? And actually, just some news came out recently that you might not even know yet, but she has not renewed her contract with Comca. How do you think that might affect her career? And how do you think her career has progressed? And how do you think it will continue to go?
I'm not too worried about that. I think with the success she saw with her latest work and the success other labels and companies have probably seen or whatever, I think she'll be fine. Wherever she goes, wherever she ends up, it'll be totally fine. And you mentioned that, her music kind of sticks to the script. Her sound hasn't really evolved since her first single releases and things like that. But
I think she's just staying true to herself.
yeah, exactly. Like we said, the music, it sounds like it's coming from her. And as long as she keeps doing that, I think the music will be good. Blackpink doesn't have a leader, but when I saw them live, to me, if I didn't know anything about Blackpink, I feel like Rosé would have came off to me as the leader, at least from the shows that I saw.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a bold statement.
It's probably just a me thing. I've seen them several times, but I feel like every time I've seen them, she's the one that kind of, and maybe it's just because she just takes charge of the mic sometimes and speaks. Maybe she's just the most comfortable doing it. But to me, I felt like, man, if I didn't know, maybe Jennie would come off as the face, as the center or something like that. But I feel like Rosé seems to be the glue that's kind of keeping everybody in line. That's just me though.
That's an interesting take.
Yeah.
For me, as somebody who's followed Blackpink since pre-debut, I would always consider either Jennie or Jisoo.
Oh yeah, me too. I mean, that's who I would also think. It's just something about when I see them live together. Maybe Rosé just sticks out to me.
Okay.
Maybe it's that.
Like, I think Jisoo's kind of like an emotional leader. Maybe Rosé could be musically.
Maybe it's that. Maybe it's just during performances, she's just the one. I don't know. But yeah, Jisoo's the oldest. She seems to be the one they can lean on.
Well, they don't have an official leader, right? So that could be the reason why, is because they all do their own things.
Mm-hmm.
So going back, again, Rosé didn't renew her contract with Comca, which is the Korean Music Copyright Association, essentially how she would get royalties and things of that nature. It sounded like she had signed a contract with some US companies, which would lead one to assume that she's going to focus on doing a lot of US releases. Do you think that this is a positive for her future?
It's tough to say. It's tough to say without putting my own personal feelings.
Well, what are your personal feelings?
Usually I don't like it when K-pop, Korean artists try to focus on international markets or the American market. Man, if I had to pick, you focus on the Korean market. Keep your songs targeted toward that and let it bleed out naturally. I feel like when they try to cater to a wider audience, the music becomes a little more generic.
They're just trying too hard.
Yeah. I love BTS's songs that they've released in English that seem to be more for the Western market, but I love the songs that they wrote for just Korean audiences a lot more.
I agree.
But at the same time, your question is this good for her career? It might be. I just don't know if I like it. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't really like it. I think the Korean market is really important. It could very well work out for her. But it was funny, while we were preparing for this show, I had a moment where I thought back to our previous episode about IU, and your prediction for her future was winning the Grammy. And I said, maybe the first South Korean female artist to win a Grammy is someone that we don't even know or someone that isn't even born yet.
Yeah.
But while going through this, I actually thought maybe Rosé has a chance if she can really develop her music.
She could have a chance. If it's any of the BLACKPINK members, I think it'll be her.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, finally, in 2023, almost 7 years after her debut in BLACKPINK, and over 1 full year after Rosé's solo debut, the oldest member, JISOO, would finally go on to make her solo debut. On March 31st of 2023, JISOO would release her single album titled Me, with the title tracks Flower and All Eyes on Me. When this came out, how are you feeling?
You know how I said I felt like Rosé is the most connected to the music in that process? I'm not saying this in a bad way. I feel like JISOO is the least connected to that.
That's a personal opinion.
That's a personal opinion. Personal opinion.
That does not reflect my opinion.
I'm not saying she doesn't love music. I'm not saying it like it's anything like that. What I'm saying is maybe unlike Rosé, which you said, her career is mostly music and then she's got some like brands on the side. For JISOO, I feel like she also has other passions. She has passions in acting. We know she was doing some modeling when she was coming up before BLACKPINK. So I feel like JISOO, not that she's not connected to the music, but she's also connected to other things. I love JISOO. I was looking forward to her debut, but just not maybe as much as Rosé's or JENNIE's or something like that.
That's an interesting take because JISOO fans had been waiting for this debut for a long time.
I have an opinion about this.
Okay.
I feel like JISOO would naturally release music when she wants to, but I feel like she releases a little bit earlier than she wants to because fans are always clamoring for it.
So you think that when people were blaming YG for not giving JISOO a solo debut and JISOO was claiming that she just didn't feel she was ready, you think that was the truth?
I think there's truth to it. I want to be careful because I don't want to give off the wrong impression. But yeah, if when she says she's not ready, I feel like she wasn't ready. Not that she didn't want to, but she just didn't feel like, maybe she didn't have the right project in front of her. Maybe she wanted to maybe complete this project first and then put her all into the music. I don't know. It's just what it seems like to me. I'm not saying this is fact, but that's how I see it.
Well, personally for me, I was just blindly saying, yeah, I mean, that's what JISOO says. Then that's what JISOO wants. But after the release that we mentioned earlier, she had just come out with her latest EP, Amortage, featuring Earthquake, the title track off of that EP. I started to wonder, was she really not ready or was YG just trying to play with timing? Because Amortage is a really great EP and it really solidifies the type of music that JISOO wants to do, in my personal opinion. When BLACKPINK first toured, or I guess it was their second tour, JISOO did a cover song of an EDM track, right? And at the time, I thought, okay, this is a fun song. But when she started releasing her music, you could tell that this is the type of music that she wants to do. And then I realized, like, I actually really enjoy this music. Like when Flower came out, All Eyes on Me came out, I really love those songs. Like Flower is such a huge viral hit in Korea, right? But All Eyes on Me is actually, I really enjoy that song even more because I really like the lyrics to that song.
That is interesting that you say that All Eyes on Me is what caught you because of the lyrics. I do fall into the camp that I like Flower more.
Yeah, they're both great songs. And the flower dance is, I mean, it's such a fun dance.
And it just goes to show you, like, whatever these girls do, it just catches on with the public. Each and every one of them. There's something special about each of them, which is cool.
How about Earthquake? How did you feel about that?
I thought it was okay.
You just thought it was okay? I mean, it just came out maybe.
Yeah. I haven't had, first of all, it just came out, and it came out at a time where, well, we're in Korea right now, like we said, so it's pretty chaotic. I haven't been listening or staying up as much in the last week or so.
Just preparing for this trip.
Just preparing for the trip. So, any music that's come out in the past week or so, I'm probably not as connected to it or have listened as much as I usually would. So I need more time with that one. So far, it's okay. But it's Jisoo. I'm going to keep listening to it. So I'm going to watch her perform it. I have a lot of videos in my watch later of her performing the song. So I will get familiar with it very quickly.
Well, I'll be the Jisoo promoter then. Amortage, amazing. Check it out. Really love the entire concept of this EP and the songs and the performances. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, I shall watch.
But you alluded to it a little bit earlier, whereas Rosé is a little bit more leaning towards the musical side. I would say Jisoo leans more towards the acting side. She's taken on far more roles compared to the other members.
Yeah.
She's had major roles in Korean dramas, in particular Snowdrop, and now playing, I believe, Newtopia.
Mm-hmm.
Have you watched anything with Jisoo in it? And do you have any thoughts on her acting?
Yeah, so I started Snowdrop. Obviously, I was super curious. I wanted to see Jisoo in a drama, see what she could do. I also love Jung Hae-in. So the two of them together was all I needed to sell me on the drama.
It was a very controversial drama because of the content.
It was controversial. Did you watch the drama, or did you only kind of follow the backlash, if you want to call it that?
I don't really watch dramas based on who's in it.
Oh, really? I only watch dramas based on who's in it.
I usually watch dramas that are good.
Okay.
Dramas already take a lot of time.
Big investments.
Big time investment.
Yep.
So I don't want to spend my time on something that is not already known to be worth watching.
Yeah.
I don't believe Snowdrop was really considered to be one of those dramas on that level.
Yeah. I kind of wish her acting debut started with smaller roles, especially when you see things like people who don't think idols deserve to star in like dramas right away when you have actors who've been doing it for years.
Ooh, a topic for another episode.
A topic for another episode. And this is just for her kind of thing. And let her grow into acting and getting used to it with smaller roles and bigger roles. But she kind of got thrown into the deep end. I'm not saying she did bad or anything. I'm just saying I wish it kind of started a little differently.
I mean, sadly, it was such a controversial drama that it overshadowed a lot of everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, so neither of us have watched Newtopia. There were some criticisms about that, but I'm not going to be able to really judge.
I saw that. I saw the those headlines, if you want to call it as well. And that's kind of the reason I said the thing about I wish she started with smaller roles. You know, her first 2 or 3 roles are just so big. So a lot of the audience is going to turn on her right away, no matter what.
Because of the idol background?
Because of, the privilege, maybe.
Is that what you're going to call it?
I don't know what else to call it, for lack of a better term.
This is a topic for another episode.
Yeah. Maybe I should say the people's perception of what they think is privilege.
Okay. Well, aside from the music and the acting that we previously discussed, of course, Jisoo also has her brand ambassador positions, in particular Dior and Cartier. Big fan of Dior.
Big fan of Cartier.
Yeah, I know you're a big fan of Cartier. So I love seeing Jisoo's face on all the Dior makeup and stuff like that.
I always get a kick out like when I go to the mall and see.
One of the things that she has done recently is worked with the athleisure wear brand Aloe. And she was just a fan of Aloe.
Mm-hmm.
But then they reached out to her to become an ambassador type of situation.
Smart.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who got into Aloe because of that.
Because of Jisoo.
Yeah. So how do you feel about Jisoo's career so far? Her music, her acting?
I feel like if I was her, let's say I was her manager or something, I would kind of want her to lean a little more one way or the other.
She's her own manager. She's the CEO of
No, I'm saying, but if I was, you're right.
There was a funny article that came out recently about how Jisoo's staff would ask her for these simple tasks as a CEO, and then she just had no idea that this is the type of things that she needed to approve of. But yeah, she's her own boss.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I think her music is good. I think she should take on some smaller roles. But I love Jisoo, so I'll watch and listen to anything she does.
So Justin's overall opinion, to summarize: music good, her brand ambassadorships good, her acting just maybe some smaller roles.
No. I'm not commenting on her acting. This is with anybody. This is with any. If someone's a new director, you don't throw them an Avengers movie. you know what I mean? No matter, you don't do that. Give them a smaller movie. Let them prove themselves. Let James Gunn do his Slithers and stuff, and then give him Guardians of the Galaxy, and then give him the role of head of the DC studio. So that's the trajectory you should be going.
All right. I'm neither gonna agree nor disagree.
I'm not commenting on her acting, just to be clear.
We love Jisoo here.
I love Jisoo.
All right, so let's go on to Prospect Patch. Of course, the premier fortune-telling news agency where we make our predictions. Justin, fellow editor-in-chief, what is the future Blackpink-related headline you're going to write tomorrow?
We kind of had this conversation recently, and this is one of those maybe far-fetched ones with a hint of hope and reality. We say the Prospect headline: Blackpink to perform the halftime show at the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one. So Blackpink to perform the halftime show at the Super Bowl.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
That's big.
It's huge.
I think it could be a possibility if they keep progressing in their careers and they keep growing. But that one's crazy because I feel like
it's crazy, yeah.
I feel like the Super Bowl and the NFL have a very specific type of artist that they look for the Super Bowl halftime shows. And, this could progress. This could change. We never know. That's why we're predicting headlines, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a crazy one.
Part of the reason I kind of wanted to throw out that crazy one is at least girl groups in K-pop. If not them, then who else? Right? Twice is amazing. Like one of the best. But I don't think it would be them at the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah, probably not.
Singing Cheer Up.
Cheer up.
Although I would love it.
You got to cheer up these players.
I mean, they Go Hard. Go Hard. They have a song called Touchdown.
Oh my God.
Okay, we'll save that for the Twice episode. Twice to perform at the Super Bowl.
No.
I'm just kidding. What's yours?
This one was actually pretty hard for me because they've already done such crazy things for a K-pop group, like performing at stadiums around the country, the music that they released.
I had to pull out the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so like they're already confirmed to be touring in 2025, so I can't give anything like that. Yeah, so I guess I'm just gonna have to keep it something realistic. Jennie has already announced her solo performances or solo shows, so I will say that ROSÉ will have her solo concert.
Ooh, okay.
And LISA will also have her solo concert. Okay, so let's stick with that. Justin believes with 100% faith, without a doubt in his mind, that Blackpink will be performing in the Super Bowl.
I feel like a lot of my words this episode is being twisted here.
And I have predicted that ROSÉ and LISA will have their own solo concerts in the near future.
At the Super Bowl.
So let's move on to 10 years ago today. There's not a lot of huge headlines for this week, but there is one that caught my eye. 10 years ago today, on February 17th, 2015, the Korean news website or newspaper Sports Chosun ranked girl group idols in 2015. So this is just the beginning of the year, 2015, and you have to remember a lot of things were really different. So that's why I thought this list was really interesting. They divided these girl groups into tiers, and there are 6 tiers. So I want to start with the top tier, what they call the unbreakable wall. This is the best of the best girl groups in Korea in 2015. No doubt, Soyeonshide Girls' Generation.
Yeah.
21.
Yeah.
Sistar.
That's an interesting one.
Do you remember Sistar being considered an unbreakable wall in K-pop? I believe this was around the time that Shake It may have come out.
Yeah, I mean, to me, they were undoubtedly I don't want to say top tier because we're looking at like a tier list, but
But they are top tier, I guess.
They were a very high tier group. They were releasing hit after hit, especially during the summers, right? They were the queen of the summer singles, but
People were saying that summer couldn't start until Sistar made their comeback.
they had their place in the industry. Their solid place. Their popularity was up there. But when you say names like Girls' Generation and 21, I don't know if I would put Sister right up against that. I don't know if I would do that.
Could this be a bias because of Girls' Generation coming from SM and 21 coming from YG? Whereas at the time, Sistar, no one really knew Starship until Sistar debuted. K-Will was part of that, and then Boyfriend afterwards. But Sistar was really the one that propelled that company into what it is today. IVE would not exist. Iki, who just debuted, would not exist if Sistar didn't reach this level,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Even so, do you think, I'll ask a question right back to you. Do you think because this is Sports Chosun, a Korean outlet, do you think this is a very Korean specific point of view? We're trying to look at the Korean point of view as well, but obviously we also have an international point of view as well.
Well, that's your opinion. You thought that Sistar is kind of just against the wall. I agree with this.
Oh.
But yeah, 100%. This was the Korean sentiment.
Yeah.
A lot, like celebrities would go around name dropping, oh, Sistar is my favorite group.
Yeah. No, they're incredible.
So yeah, that was The Unbreakable Wall, Girls' Generation, 21, and Sistar. So let's move on. The next level is they actually put something in between The Unbreakable Wall and the next level, which was called the National Constituency. So from, I guess what they would be S tier and A tier, they put in between Girls' Day.
Yeah. See, I would put Sister there.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about Girls' Day?
Girls' Day, man, I can't remember. Can't remember what the perception of them was at the time. I can't remember what my perception really was. Obviously, I don't like to rank things, so I don't really think about things like this. But I mean, it probably makes sense.
Yeah, so Girls' Day also came from a very small agency.
Yeah.
When they debuted, they didn't really have a lot of success. But eventually they came out with a song called Expectation or Kide. And that one just absolutely blew them up. And since then, they've enjoyed a lot of success. Even to this day, Girls' Day is considered a very strong girl group. And Hyeri, one of the members, is a big actress as well.
Yeah.
So I would have to agree with this. I don't know. I don't agree with you and Sistar, but I'll agree with Girls' Day.
I'm just saying like right under. And then Girls' Day right under that.
Okay. So for the national constituency ranking, which I guess is like the A rank, is A-Pink.
Yeah.
This was like A-Pink's heyday. This is right after Mr. Chu. They had come out with a few more hits after that, like LUV, Remember. Actually, I don't even think Remember was out yet. So they had just basically gone a bit because Mr. Chu is really what propelled them. Do you agree with this ranking of a national constituency?
I would definitely agree. A-Pink was on their way up. They would continue this momentum going forward. So
yeah, they're still around today.
yeah, so this makes a lot of sense and it held up.
Yeah. And right below that, we have AOA. So AOA, this is, I guess, between the A rank and B rank. This is where AOA was placed. How do you feel about that? I'm a big AOA guy. I loved AOA. So I'm happy about this spot.
I love this. I love that they get this spot. I think it fits.
Okay.
Yeah.
But would you put them above what they have listed here under A rank, which is Secret, FX, Kara, and 4 Minute? But Matt, around this time, Kara was having some issues, I believe.
Yes.
But above 4 Minute.
It's hard to get out of my current mindset and put myself back into the 2015 mindset. But yeah, Kara was going through things that...
Secret was going through things.
And FX was on the tail end of their career.
That is true.
So it does make sense. And AOA would still continue after these groups.
Yeah, AOA at the time, we've talked about in previous episodes, Brave Brothers was just raking it in.
Yeah.
He was the hot producer at the time. Basically, everything he touched was gold. He was the DJ Khaled of his time. Another one.
It makes sense. And those are some of my favorite songs of theirs. So
yeah.
Yep.
So High Society was how they named that category. I guess the B rank, Secret, FX, Kara, and 4 Minute. Yeah, Secret. I'm sure we'll get to that one day.
Yeah.
Their issues with TS Entertainment, BAP. The next rank, this is where it starts getting really interesting. So this is the C rank. They called it the Mania Floor. I'm not exactly sure what that means. It's like they just reached that level of mania.
Yeah. I think from the way they described why they put these artists in there, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, so EXID, again, who we've discussed previously, they had just reached their first number one. They had just won their first music show. EXID is part of this group. Miss A, which is crazy to me, but that was also towards the tail end of their career.
Yeah. It specifically says Miss A is in this, but they went down one.
Right.
So it makes sense why it surprises you that they're a little lower.
But another one that surprised me is Nine Muses.
Yes, that is surprising. I don't remember them being
that popular
on the same tier as these other groups.
I mean, maybe at the time, but I don't remember them being that big.
No, it was always a name that was around. Like you knew Nine Muses.
You knew Kyungmi.
Yes, that's it. For me, at least.
But yeah, that's interesting. The next tier is what they called, I don't even know what this is, some popularity line. Yeah, regardless, this would be the D tier of girl groups, I guess. They have Tiara, who was going through their own issues at the time. Dalshabet, which is actually one of my favorite groups.
I remember.
Crayon Pop. You remember Crayon Pop?
We all remember Crayon Pop. We all remember where we were.
And the Wiggle Wiggle Masters themselves.
Wiggle Wiggle. Who knew that Wiggle Wiggle would come up again in another episode?
3 episodes in a row. Hello, Venus.
That's true.
Hello, Venus is rounding out.
Brave Brother knows what he's doing, man. Still to this day.
Yeah, Brave Brothers. Brave sound. Wow, so Tiara, D rank. That's crazy because they've reached the highest rank.
Yeah.
Incredible. And then the final tier, which is, it's more of like a potential, these are the groups that are going to be on the list in the future.
So looking at this, it's insane.
So I'll start with the ones that did work out. Mamamoo, Red Velvet, G-Friend.
Spry young artists.
Yeah, these were all groups who were just starting out at the time. And they did eventually become top tier artists.
Yes.
But a couple interesting ones here. Sonamu. Do you remember Sonamu?
Yeah.
Do you remember anything?
I don't remember anything about Sonamu besides the name Sonamu.
They had a couple of good songs, but I think they also had their own issues with their agency.
Yeah.
And the last one here is actually listed first on this list, but Bestie. Do you remember Bestie?
I feel like the only thing I know about Bestie is I think one of the members was in a drama that I watched. Maybe? See, that's how much I remember. I don't even know if that's right.
Wow. That's crazy to me because I loved Bestie.
You love Bestie?
But they only had like 2 songs.
Oh.
But both those songs were bangers,
yeah?
in my opinion.
Give me one and we'll talk about it. Give me 50% of their discography.
I'm going to recommend this song. It's the second of their 2 songs. It's called Excuse Me.
Okay.
I really love this song. Excuse me, excuse me.
Can I ask how you discovered Bestie?
Okay, this is great.
Yeah, please.
So Bestie, this is crazy.
Okay.
This is crazy. Your jaw's gonna drop.
Okay.
3 of the members of Bestie, they're essentially a reformation of the group EXID.
No.
That's why I knew about them. Because
oh my gosh.
Before EXID got popular, they had different members.
Yeah.
And 3 of those members would go on to form Bestie along with Dahae, who is actually promoting solo right now.
Isn't it crazy that where Bestie are in this list and where EXID are in this list?
I mean, EXID would not have had the success that they have had.
No, that's true.
These members probably.
Yep.
But I do really like Bestie. Haeyeon, Haeryung, Yuji, and again, Dahae, she actually just came out with her solo song and is promoting on the shows right now. Yeah, so yeah, that was Bestie.
Yeah, wow. You remember the last episode where you mentioned Tiny G and I just went off for an hour and a half?
That's me with Bestie.
This is you with Bestie. I did not expect such a connection with Bestie. Wow.
Yeah.
And a great history lesson as well.
So Sonamu, I want to touch on them briefly because we did mention Secret and BAP. So Sonamu is also a TS Entertainment artist, which is one of the reasons why they had such a failure, even though they had popular members, actually. One of the members, her stage name was Diana. And she was actually on a friendly relationship with a lot of large artists that we know today, like Somi, Sugi, etc., etc. So, yeah, I mean, the Sonamu, sadly, their biggest problem was just signing with the wrong agency.
Yeah.
Very common, actually, in K-pop.
Very common with that agency.
Yeah, so 10 years ago today, on February 17th, Sports Chosun came out with their tier list of girl groups in 2015.
Do they still do this? This is interesting.
I'd be curious to see if they still have one for like 2025.
Yeah. It's interesting maybe looking back because we know the future of all of these people.
Yeah, it's much more interesting looking back.
Yeah.
The next thing on the list is on February 22nd of 2015, Davichi celebrated their 7th anniversary. So Davichi, we actually talked about them last week.
We did?
Yeah, I mentioned that while 15 and were disbanding, Davichi were going strong just because of how strong the relationship is between the two members. And they put a lot of great tracks, a lot of OST tracks. Their biggest hit, as far as I know, is a song called 8282, Pali Pali. Do you remember Davichi and any of their songs?
So Davichi, so 2015 was their 7-year anniversary. That means they started a little before I got into K-pop. So to me, they were just kind of these ballad legends that, I hear about all the time. I listen to some of their songs and things like that, but I didn't have a super, super strong connection to, each of them individually or anything like that. So did you have a strong connection with Davichi as you did with Bestie?
First of all, the strong connection with Bestie is a little bit overblown. I just really enjoyed their music.
Yeah, we're twisting a lot of things in this episode again.
All right. I was a big fan. I really enjoyed Davichi. I like ballads, so I like a lot of their music. But the song that I mentioned earlier, 8282, that was a song that got me. But yeah, they release a lot of ballads, so it is a little bit hit or miss for me because it just depends on how good the lyrics are for the ballads.
You're a big lyrics guy.
Yeah, I'm a big lyrics guy. So, but yeah, like I said last week, Haeri and Minkyung, they have a great relationship. I'm a big fan of both of them. And yeah, Davichi, just one of the most well-known, maybe the most well-known female duo in Korea.
That's who I would think of, yeah.
Probably the only other one that I can think of is As One. You know As One?
No.
It's a first generation duo. But yeah, Davichi surpassed them by far, not even close.
Yeah.
2015 was their 7th anniversary. That means they're going on 17 years at this point.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so 10 years ago today, Davichi celebrated their 7th anniversary on February 22nd of 2015. They still come out with songs. Like even just last year, they had a few songs, right?
Yeah, I think they still come with OSTs and things like that. Yeah. Awesome.
So that ends our 10 years ago today segment. A shorter one today.
Yeah.
We covered the Sports Chosun girl group ranking for 2015, girl group idols, and Davichi's 7th anniversary.
Very eye-opening stuff today.
So today, with the release of Jisoo's latest EP last week, Amortage, we discussed the individual careers of the BLACKPINK members. What are your overall thoughts on the group and how their careers have progressed so far?
For me, I love BLACKPINK, and I know point of contention in their careers was the amount of songs they released and things like that. But looking back, I love what they released, and to me, that's kind of all that matters. I'm glad that they're still doing things as a group. They're touring this year. Hopefully, we'll get new music at some point, and it's pretty incredible to see what each member can do on their own, and they're stars onto themselves. And I can't wait to see what's next.
What do you think it is about BLACKPINK that has given them such incredible and almost unparalleled success?
I think off the bat, they did get some momentum from 21, but the fact that they were able to reach the levels that they got to is a testament to the members individually. And I think their personalities off stage is what caught a lot of people's attention. And I think the fact that they're big in Korea, but you have a member from New Zealand, you have a member from Australia, you have a member from Korea, and you have a member from Thailand, that gives them a very international appeal at the same time, while those members are still Korean as well. You know what I mean? So they're able to pander to the Korean audience. They're able to speak and communicate to the international audience, and they have the resources and the big enough agency to back them all up. And they've had the talent and the passion to stick it this long and make it this big. I think that's what separates them from everyone else. What is it about them to you that has given them this amount of success and this longevity?
This isn't really something that I thought about much until recently, but I realized it, well, strangely enough, I was watching ROSÉ on Hot Ones.
Yeah.
And she mentioned about how much each of the members have that drive to succeed. And I realized that, yeah, you look at their individual careers, each of them, they all kind of do their own thing. They follow their lane And they continue to strive in each of those aspects and become greater and greater, right? Like Jennie with her creativity, her music, her brand deals and things of that nature. You got Jisoo with her acting and, putting out this music now. You got ROSÉ with her music. And then LISA with her dancing and her music. She's trying to get into acting as well now too. I think they have such a strong bond, the four of them together. And they all have the same mindset and goal of being the best. I think what's given them this incredible success, of course, all the things that you mentioned earlier about the formation of the group itself. But I think with any group in K-pop, I think the number one thing is the chemistry between the members and the relationship between the members and how they get along. I've mentioned this before, but I personally don't like it when members leave groups. And it happens more often than not for a variety of reasons. Sometimes they get kicked out. Sometimes there's a scandal. Sometimes they just don't want to be in the group. But you look at BLACKPINK and all four of them, they all want to do their own things, but they also want to stay together and continue to grow that as well. So I think that's the biggest reason why BLACKPINK has had such incredible success.
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't mention it because I feel like this is one of the most important things that keeps me a fan of any artist, any group in particular, is the bond between the members. Like you said, they don't have to be together right now. They don't have to do this tour. They can make their money by themselves and they can do anything they want by themselves. I think when their contract ended, the world was their oyster, right? And they still decided, we're going to do our own things and we're going to do those things the way we want to do them. We're going to be BLACKPINK. We're going to tour and hopefully put out some music.
Well, we'll see what YG does.
Yeah.
But yeah, at this point, each of the members, again, they've just eclipsed the amount of songs that they've released. But thanks again for joining me, Justin, as always.
Of course.
Do you have any final thoughts?
Learn something new every day. I learn something new every time we do this podcast. I'm going to listen to half of their songs when we finish this.
They have B-sides, but the one that I would recommend is Excuse Me.
All one of them. No. But yeah, let's go explore Korea some more.
Yeah, let's go grab some dinner, I guess.
Let's go.
That's all for today, Friday, February 21st, 2025. This has been Diaries of an MZ Generation. It's hosted by Ellis Tan and Justin Lee. This is a production of Selective Hearing and is part of the Selective Hearing network of podcasts. Edited by Ellis Tan and Greg Abasamis. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.